So, sir, tell us about your self-defense history. I know that you had more than one tool at your disposal when the incident happened. So, kind of walk us through what got you started on that. Have you always been around firearms and self-defense related stuff your whole life, or is it something you sort of pursued as an adult on your own?
Palm pepper spray is next generation OC spray. It's hot at 1.4% major capsaicinoids, and its modular design means you can customize it exactly to you. 3 different setups, lots of different color combinations. You can make it exactly as you like. And the flip top safety prevents accidental discharges. It's 10 to 12 foot range and 25 half-second blasts. Make sure that you can keep that long range eye poke at long range. I trust Palm OC and I recommend it for everyone for self-defense.
Well, I've always been part of like self-defense classes. I've always, when I was a kid, my dad trained me. He always was into self-defense and martial arts. So he trained me. Then he put me in like a Kempo, I think it's called, the karate. I don't know. So I did that for a few years. So my whole life I was always in martial arts. I've done Kung Fu, karate. I'm currently practicing jujitsu.
I was waiting for jujitsu. I mean, your family's from Brazil. I'm like, where?
Yeah. So yeah, I've been practicing jujitsu for about 2 years now, and Muay Thai also. So I've always liked the martial arts, the sports, the sport aspect of it. I've always liked anything that's related to self-defense. It's just good to know how to defend yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then about 2021 or 2020, I bought my first gun. It was it is an H&K VP9.
Stop right there. Just stop right there. So
I'm sorry,
ladies and gentlemen, a golf clap for Giovanni, whose first gun, because normally we hear first gun, it's some nightmarish piece of crap gun that gets put in an Uncle Mike's sausage sack. But you just said HK was your first gun. Do you remember what model it was?
Yeah, it's a VP9.
Wow. Okay. So this is a first, ladies and gentlemen. Mark this date on your calendar. Our guest, his first gun ever was the best gun, really. So you bought that about 2021. And were you able to avail yourself of any training, get out there and shoot it?
Yeah. So it was right in the middle of COVID and the pandemic, and it was a little hard to practice. So I bought the little laser cartridge. I got the whole Laser Academy, the whole,
Oh, Mantis?
Yep. I bought the Mantis Elite. I bought the Laser Academy, where you put the targets with the QR code, and I would practice hours and hours. I would do all sorts of. I mean, it's just fun. I've always liked the sports of shooting. Like video games and shooting BB guns or whatever it was. So I've always liked the room clearance. I practice by myself, at home. And so I would do a lot of dry fire. And then in my first class that I actually took was not pistol, was carbine. I took a carbine class December of 21, I think.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. And then after that, I took 2 handgun classes.
Very good. So couple things. HK and Mantis can both give us $5 each for this episode, since we mentioned them all already. That was fast. I still haven't figured out who the sponsor is going to be, but it should be someone else, I guess.
All right.
So with that said, I think it's worth noting that things like jiu-jitsu and Kempo and karate and things like, the shooting sports are things that are very practical, but a lot of fun. We sometimes miss the fun aspect of these things. Like, it's fun to go shooting, in a safe environment with people who know what they're doing. Obviously, it's fun to shoot guns, and it's fun to go on the mats and do jiu-jitsu. It's fun to wrestle. It's fun to do all these sorts of things. And a byproduct of these as being your hobbies is you're able to defend yourself a little bit better, whether you're armed or not. So I think that's one of the things that, like, we're by the time this comes out, the conference will have passed, but our national conference is coming up. We're recording this September 26th. So in 2 days, we'll all be in Kansas having a blast, shooting guns and taking classes. So let's not miss that part of it for sure. So the incident that you wrote in about, you have some. It looks like it was uh, tape taken inside of a home or a condo or an apartment. Can you tell us what sort of recording equipment was in there, and was it your place or someone else's?
Yeah, this is my house, and it's a house. I When I got divorced, my ex-wife, we had a big dog, so that's just a great security. It's a big pit bull, so she took him away, and I was like, I'm not really sure how to like really protect my home, so I got the whole system, the house alarm, and I got the security cameras for inside the house. So, and I put them all in the common areas and main entrances in case something ever were to happen. I have it monitored and it all stores into the cloud. So, and those, I bought the cameras off of eBay. I don't remember exactly what brand they are,
Mhm.
but they're great. They're great.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the footage is very, very usable. Everyone, you can recognize people in it. It's not like it's shot on a 144p potato like some of the videos we
Right.
get stuck with. So, for sure, and I think worth mentioning as well. We're kind of jumping ahead to lessons here, but I think you have the right mindset in as much as an alarm is great. It's a great tool. Cameras are a great tool. They can be used in court later to prove that you did something right, that they're claiming you did wrong, or whatever. And moderate, and dogs are great. Dogs are great as an early warning. They can bark. They might hear a thing before a human ever does. But all those things don't really protect you. When you, at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself still, unless you have a trained Rottweiler or something that's going to jump up and bite a person and pin them down. Most of us don't have that. So I think the early lesson here is all these things are great tools and they're helpful to have. But at the end of the day, you still got to protect yourself from whatever those things reveal to you is now happening. There's someone breaking into your house or whatever the case might be. So I'm a little confused. I read your story, but I don't do a lot of pre-interview for a reason. You can vouch for the fact that we did talk about your story ahead of
Yeah.
time, except for an email.
Hmm.
So it seems to me like either you or a roommate or friend was coming home and was followed by someone is what I think happened. So why don't you kind of walk us through how this all got started? Were you
Yeah.
the person that knew about the bad guy, or were you the person that was told about the bad guy?
Yeah, I was the person that was told about the bad guy. So
Okay.
what happened was, yeah, I was out with some friends, and some friends from jujitsu,
Mhm.
and I got home, and I got home like about 1:45 in the morning or something. And I was just laying in bed watching some TV until I, fell sleepy. And I hear a car alarm go off. So I look out the bedroom window to see if it's my car, and it's not my car. So I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about that if it's not my car. So I just laid back down in bed. And then I hear the car alarm go off again. I was like, well, again, it's not my car, so there's really nothing for me to do. And then all of a sudden, I hear my house alarm um, trigger, start when it starts beeping before it actually goes off, the alarm.
Mhm.
So as soon as I hear that, I pull up my phone and look all the cameras to see what's going on, like what tripped the alarm, because I went from, I guess, what we call, the code green to a code, yellow, like, what's going on.
Sure.
So I
Were
started
you
looking at the
were you
cameras.
expecting anyone to show up at your house in that moment?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't. I thought, at first I just thought it was some car alarm, just going off. And I know there's a lot like people stealing Cadillac converters or whatever. So I was like, oh, let me look at my, to see if it's my car or a neighbor's car or something.
Sure.
So I couldn't see anything. So I just, so when I pulled the camera, I see that the back door, when you see in the video, I have a Florida room and there are two back doors. And I think I remember seeing one of the back doors open, or I don't remember. I know that I'm looking at the cameras, I don't see anything, and the alarm just starts going off. Like nobody disarmed it, and it
Hmm.
just starts going off. And as my personal security protocol, if I don't, if I didn't trip the alarm, I won't disarm it, because the company, the alarm company, is Simply Safe. So every time that the alarm goes off, they immediately, they will call the police if it's not disarmed. So I said, if there is real danger, then, I'm not going to disarm the alarm and then not have them, send help. So by default, they immediately call, the police, and they send help. And they're very fast with that. So yeah, I'm looking at the cameras. I see nothing. And then all of a sudden I see my roommate run inside and turn off the alarm. So I was like, oh, okay. So he's the one who actually tripped the alarm. So he turns off the alarm, and then I keep watching on camera, and I see him walk back outside. And I was like, I don't know, what's going on. So I keep looking at the cameras, and then I see him walk back inside, and he's at the door, and like this other person shows up at the door. So my first thought was maybe someone's trying to steal a car, someone's trying to protect it.
Makes sense.
And they came over to our place to ask for help or something.
Okay.
That was my first thought. But again, I don't know what's going on, so I'm hunkered down in my in the bedroom with the door locked. I'm barricaded because I don't know what's going on.
That's right.
And then that's when my roommate starts running into the house and saying, "Hey, Duani, grab your gun. Somebody's in the house."